Ever had something completely change your life when you thought you had it all figured out? You think your past is behind you, only for it to come crashing back, shaking everything you thought you knew. But the real twist? That's still to come. What you think you understand is only the beginning. You won't want to miss this. Dear listeners, before we move forward, please subscribe my channel to hit 1,000 figure. We all have moments in our lives that haunt us, moments that we can never fully forget. For some, it's a mistake made years ago, a decision that changed everything. For Clint Eastwood, those moments are all too real. A retired FBI profiler, Clint is now a man burdened by his past. He doesn't talk about it often, but it's clear that it's always there, lurking just beneath the surface. When Clint was actively working in the field, he was driven, obsessed even. Every case was a puzzle that needed solving. Every criminal was a target that couldn't get away. But it wasn't just the job that defined him. It was the personal sacrifices he made for it. He lost his family, his health, and almost his very soul to the relentless pursuit of justice. A key case from his past still tortures him, a case that he couldn't solve. It was a failure that cost more than just a conviction. It left Clint with a sense of guilt that has weighed him down for years. He retired early, hoping to escape the ghosts of that time, to live a quieter life. But can someone ever truly escape their past? For Clint, the answer is no. When a new case falls into his lap, a case that seems all too familiar, Clint is forced to confront what he's been running from. The memories of his former life, the rush of the investigation, the pressure to solve the case, all come flooding back. It's not just a job for Clint anymore. It's a battle with himself, a test to see if he can overcome the things that have been holding him back for so long. In this first section, we begin to see the complexity of Clint's character. He's a man who's lived through tragedy, who's tried to bury his past, and who now finds himself reluctantly pulled back into the very world he hoped to escape. His internal struggle becomes the emotional core of the story, a reminder that no matter how hard we try, our past will always find its way back to us. Clint's return to the world of crime solving isn't something he welcomes. It's something he dreads. When he first receives the call about the new case, his instincts scream at him to decline. He doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to face the darkness that's been haunting him for years. But duty, the nagging pull of his old profession, and a lingering sense of justice force his hand. The case is chilling. A serial killer, methodical and precise, with a pattern that feels eerily familiar. For Clint, it's not just another case to crack. It's the echo of a ghost from his past. The killer's approach, the way he thinks, it all brings back memories of the case Clint failed to solve, the case that had torn him apart. The similarities are too much to ignore, and as much as Clint tries to distance himself, he finds himself drawn back into the investigation, as if it's his destiny to finish what he started so long ago. But Clint is no longer the young, sharp profiler he once was. He's older now, his health in decline, and the years of trying to leave that world behind have taken their toll. He struggles to keep up with the fast-paced investigation, questioning whether he still has the skills to solve the case. He's been away from the game for too long, and the weight of his past mistakes is starting to feel like a suffocating burden. Despite these doubts, his mind begins to sharpen as he delves deeper into the case. He recalls the methods he used to employ, the way he used to get inside the minds of criminals. Slowly, the profiler in him begins to resurface, pushing him forward, even when every instinct in his body is telling him to stop. It's a strange mix of reluctance and determination, a feeling of being pulled back into a life he thought he had left behind. As he tracks the killer's movements and patterns, Clint begins to realize that this isn't just about solving a crime, it's about facing his own fears. Every step he takes brings him closer to confronting the failures of his past, and the deeper he gets into the case, the more personal it becomes. This killer isn't just a faceless villain. He's a symbol of Clint's unresolved guilt, his unfinished business. It's as if this killer is testing him, forcing him to confront the man he used to be and the man he's afraid he still is. As Clint dives deeper into the investigation, he begins to understand that this killer is not just another case. It's a carefully orchestrated game. The killer's actions are deliberate, calculated, and seem to mirror Clint's own methodical approach to profiling. It's as though this criminal is studying him, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The more Clint investigates, the more he realizes that he's not just chasing a killer, he's being pulled into a mental chess match, where every move has consequences. Clint, in his prime, was known for his sharp, analytical mind. His ability to get into the heads of criminals, to predict their next move before they even knew what they were going to do, was what made him so successful. But time has passed, and the years of emotional and physical toll from his past cases have dulled those edges. Still, the profiler inside him stirs as he begins to piece together the killer's pattern. The killer is methodical in the way he selects his victims, each one strategically placed to evoke a response, to push Clint further into the game. The clues are there, small, almost imperceptible details that only someone like Clint would notice. As he deciphers each clue, it becomes more clear that this isn't just a random series of killings. It's a puzzle designed specifically for him. The killer knows Clint's thought process, and with each new piece of information, it feels like the killer is daring him to solve it. But as the investigation progresses, the tension rises. The more Clint uncovers, the more he realizes how dangerous this game truly is. The killer's intelligence and precision are unnerving, and it soon becomes clear that he is playing a dangerous game of manipulation. Every time Clint feels like he's about to make a breakthrough, the killer throws him off course with a new twist, a new challenge. It's as if he's always one step ahead, taunting Clint, forcing him to play catch-up. Clint is caught in a whirlwind of strategy, intuition, and emotion. The longer he follows the killer's trail, the more personal it becomes. It's not just about solving the case, it's about facing his own fears, his own self-doubt. This killer knows exactly how to get under Clint's skin, playing on his past mistakes and failures, forcing him to confront the very things he spent years trying to bury. The psychological game between the two intensifies as Clint races against time to prevent the next murder. With every lead he follows, every step he takes, it's clear that this isn't just a test of his skills. It's a test of his resilience, his ability to overcome the darkness that has consumed him for so long. The closer Clint gets to the truth, the more his past begins to unravel, revealing the painful truths he's been trying to avoid. Each step in the investigation isn't just about tracking the killer, it's about confronting his own demons. The case, with all its chilling parallels to his previous failures, becomes an emotional reckoning. It's a cruel twist of fate that the killer is forcing Clint to face what he's tried to bury for so long. As Clint gets deeper into the investigation, he uncovers a shocking truth about the killer's motivations. It's not just a desire to kill. It's a desire to make Clint pay for his past mistakes. The killer knows about the case that broke Clint, the one that he couldn't solve. This is not a random act of violence. This is personal. The killer has been watching him, studying him, and now he wants Clint to feel the same sense of failure, the same burden of guilt that has been weighing on Clint's shoulders all these years. It becomes clear that the killer is not just targeting innocent people. He's targeting the very fabric of Clint's identity, his sense of self-worth. The killer's actions are meant to strip Clint of everything he's built in his retirement, to drag him back into the darkness of his past. Every murder, every clue, every step in the investigation is a reminder of what Clint lost. The case that broke him is now the one that might destroy him once again. This moment marks a turning point for Clint. He realizes that this isn't just about catching the killer, it's about redemption. He's no longer just solving a case. He's trying to save himself. He's trying to prove that he can overcome the mistakes of his past, that he can be more than the profiler who failed. But the deeper he gets into this case, the more it feels like the weight of his past is pushing him down, threatening to swallow him whole. The confrontation with the killer isn't just a physical showdown, it's a battle for Clint's soul. He's been running from his mistakes, hiding behind his retirement, but now he has no choice but to face them. The killer is a mirror of Clint's own fears, the embodiment of the guilt that has been eating him alive. In this moment, Clint realizes that he must not only stop the killer, but also stop running from himself. As the investigation draws to a close, Clint knows that the final confrontation will be the ultimate test. He must face the man who's been manipulating him, who's been pulling at the strings of his emotions, and he must find the strength to stop him. But even more importantly, Clint must find the strength to forgive himself, to accept that no one is perfect, and that redemption is something he can only give to himself. The final showdown between Clint and the killer is not just a moment of physical confrontation. It's a battle of minds and wills. As Clint tracks the killer to an abandoned warehouse, the stakes have never been higher. The investigation, which started as a cold case, has become a life-or-death game. But this time, Clint is not just fighting to catch a criminal. He's fighting for his own peace, for his own redemption. The killer stands before him, cold, methodical, and detached. But there's something personal about the way he speaks to Clint. It's almost as if he understands Clint's pain. He studied it, exploited it, and now he's challenging Clint to face the truth. The killer reveals that he knows about the case that tore Clint apart years ago. He's been watching Clint, tracking his every move, knowing that Clint would eventually crack under the pressure. But what the killer doesn't understand is that Clint has changed. The man standing before him is not the profiler he once was. Clint has grown, not just in his work, but in his understanding of himself. He knows that this battle isn't just about catching the killer. It's about coming to terms with the man he used to be, the mistakes he made, and the life he failed to save. It's about finding closure, not just for the victims, but for himself. As the confrontation escalates, Clint is forced to make a choice. Does he allow the killer to manipulate him, to draw him back into the darkness of his past? Or does he break free, taking control of his own fate, and putting an end to this cycle of violence and guilt? In the final moments of the showdown, Clint makes a crucial decision. He lets go of the anger, the guilt, and the shame that have been holding him back for so long. He understands now that true justice isn't just about solving a case. It's about finding peace within oneself. With a steady hand and a clear mind, Clint brings the killer to justice, but more importantly, he brings closure to his own life. The haunting memories of his past no longer have a hold on him. As the case wraps up, Clint looks out at the world that's waiting for him. It's a world that's full of uncertainty, but it's also a world where he can start anew. He knows that there will always be shadows of his past that linger, but they no longer control him. He has faced the worst of himself, and in doing so, he's found a way to move forward. In the final moments of the story, Clint is no longer the broken profiler haunted by failure. He's a man who has faced his demons, embraced his flaws, and, most importantly, forgiven himself. As the credits roll, the message is clear. Redemption isn't a destination, it's a journey, and sometimes the hardest battles are the ones we fight within.